5 seconds remaining.
Austin's really trying to.
The potential meta we're going to see in this. Do you feel we might see a little mini meta within this group because of the way that these 4 teams play?
Yeah, just because they're all different regions, things are going to be really different. You've got one NA, one China. You'd imagine, for the most part, unless you take something weird like Bane, that you take one of your 4s here, unless you're really confident with playing all of them. Night Stalker. You could even do Nyx. That was LFY's opener for a while.
5 seconds remaining.
What about Furion?
Radiant
I don't know if he can flash and be like that. So it is Nyx.
Okay.
That is like the...
That's the replacement. That's a Chinese replacement to like Spirit Breaker, right?
Yeah, it's just
their position that they like.
That's why I brought it up at the end, because I forgot about it. But for the most part, I know China really likes this hero. It's really flexible. You can do a lot with it. It can go to the 4, it can go to the off lane. Some ways.
5 seconds remaining.
It also stops Sumail a lot because he likes playing those int base mids. And I'll tell you, as somebody who loves playing int base mids, Nyx Assassin is like a complete nightmare. You hate playing heroes like Queen of Pain, Storm, Lina, like all these heroes. Like one pick just immediately makes them
pick.
really unmatched. And so yeah, there's the NA Classics.
Dyer's turn to pick.
Be Jakiro.
That's another flexible pickup by position.
Yeah, I think the Spirit Breaker though is like, you should expect to see every NA team first to this hero. I think they just enjoy it over
10 seconds.
Traditional heroes like the Night Stalker and the Earth Spirit.
5 seconds remaining.
Crits.
Yeah.
Jakiro's.
You think that the Spirit Breaker is like, that really shows the prevalence of the laning phase, right? Because compared to other 4 positions who can give you harder initiations than Spirit Breaker, like he dominates the first 20 minutes and he kind of starts falling off past that.
I don't agree with you there. I think that what Spirit Breaker gives you more than anything, like, it's almost like nowadays we have like 2 different metas. It's like one, pick heroes that are just like strong overall, and the second is you do block picks. In the sense that if you pick this hero, you now remove like a large section of the pool of current heroes that you feel comfortable playing. For example, like if you take SB, you don't have to take such a strong laning phase hero anymore against the offlaner, because you know that they can't pick a hero like
10 seconds.
And all these heroes that are based around like split pushing, for example, it's really annoying to play
remaining.
when there's a Spirit Breaker on the map, because he'll always give you vision. Like that's the other thing that Spirit Breaker always does for you. He gives you vision at the back line. So let's say you have a really good ward place in a team fight. You just charge the back line, like whoever you think will be in the furthest back. You'll get vision of the entire area when you come in.
A similar way the Nyx Assassin pickup kind of blocks.
The Dire get a ban.
Intelligence heroes is Necrophos being so prevalent in them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a different way to play, I think.
So
Spear
an early freeze pick here.
Yeah, Necrophos. Then they have to ban probably Pugna. I would ban
But
Pugna.
that also, I feel like that plays into
seconds.
EG's hands a little bit, because I know that they like to try and save Samael's
5
hero
seconds remaining.
as late as they can possibly get it, so he doesn't get a solid count.
Well, they can still
Radiant's turn
switch
to
the
ban.
Necrophos out of the mid lane, but Necrophos is probably one of the better mids to deal with Spirit Breaker. So it's a nice piece to put forward right there. The only other ones would be like maybe Death Prophet. Clop's not terrible versus Spirit Breaker, right? But there a lot of mids who have a problem with that 4 position. It's like such a big problem in the first 5
5
minutes.
seconds
So the
remaining.
likelihood is he gets banned second phase.
Dire's
Yeah.
ban now.
Okay, so I was about to suggest Puck, and you move Necro to safe lane, because Puck is probably the best hero dealing with Spirit Breaker. Yeah, you should do that. That's the correct play. You want to get rid of all the heroes that are really annoying to play against for SP. Maybe they even take something like NP themselves.
10 seconds.
You think that's why they banned the Death Prophet in the one?
5
It's just
seconds
the biggest
remaining.
It's just what China does in general too. They really like DP as a hero. I was surprised they didn't ban Pugna, but if they don't ban Pugna, then it means they're confident EG won't pick in on the fact that they have an Nyx assassin.
Radiant's turn to pick.
Okay, so they're not afraid of EG Pugna because they think that the Nyx essentially
enough.
blocks it. Yeah. So now for EG, you need to try to find out. I feel like you need another form of initiation.
Most
You
of
think
the
they're just giving the Pugna then?
I would
Dire's
take like
turn
Wyvern
to
or
pick.
Shaker or NP or something. Oh, there's still Wisp.
Of course, yeah.
That's why we thought that VGJ would first 2 ban it.
now they've got with Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, and they've missed that because they've assumed the Spirit Breaker and Jakiro.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's why Jakiro as that second pick is
10
really safe because now you
seconds.
can
They'll
just
move to the offlane.
precisely you can just say, okay, they
5
they
seconds
just ban our
remaining.
Wisp.
Yeah.
Like this is our Wisp.
Yeah.
Crit Wisp. Come
Yeah.
on.
It's really dangerous Wisp, for example. Now, that's not where the Wisp is going to be living necessarily, but it can definitely make that, you know, that solo Jakiro, all of a sudden a Spirit Breaker charges in, and a Wisp tethers in as well. All of a sudden you're facing up against an aggro tri-lane that shut the Necrophos down. There are a lot of possibilities for EG to
10 seconds.
So when you're on second pick here, you pretty much have to reveal 2 out of your 3
5
cores.
seconds remaining.
So they have to pick Sumail or Arteezy's hero right now. And I think you probably take Arteezy's hero. Unless you feel like you can
last
do a
pick
DM.
as well, so that tends to be the way that they will pick Sumail's hero, is they try and leave it till last, especially when they've got the
Or they can just do... I'm not sure. Because there are a lot of one-position heroes right now that would just... that could auto-win for EG, and they might just want to wait. Like, if they take a really greedy one that they don't see coming, like this AM.
Dire's
Yeah, the
turn
natural
to
pressure
pick.
that comes out from Jakiro off lane. If they actually waited on their safe lane, healed everything, that they would just have the guaranteed 1v1 matchup and they could win potentially.
Yeah, but they take Lone Druid.
10 seconds.
This is their high ground hero. It's nowadays in
5
Dota. Like,
seconds
you always need a high ground
remaining.
hero. It's the only way to win. It's the only way to play anymore.
And
Will,
it's
you
still
told me
open
that the
up.
only way to win was to have a Brood player.
That's true too. You need all these like stupid OP heroes that are like really annoying to play against.
Do you think Lone Druid's good versus Necro? It should be, right? In theory, like a
Pop
range
Shroud and then
DPSer
you
and
draw him away. It's not really though, because like if you want a diffusal, you kind of have to get close. It's all right though. There's
the
a
bear
lot
can
of
use diffusal.
yeah. There's a lot of different ways that you can play LD nowadays. Like in the past, it was always the regular bear, and then once the patch hit, it changed to using the range form. And then I think it's kind of swung back around towards using bear again.
He's got a HP talent out. But I was watching a lot of Lone play recently. It seemed like most of them just preferred going into melee form and picking up a bunch.
So Vici, I'm trying to think of one position right now that would be any good.
I mean, you need a really good gap closer to deal
Yeah.
with Lone Druid.
Probably think like Shaker or something. I think you need
Here's
another
the
form of
Radiant
initiation
back.
on our team fight.
Earth Shaker.
So they do take Shaker. It's like in Dota nowadays, it's not enough to just have this one hero that runs in and starts the fight for you. Oh, it's so garbage. When teams do that, it's the only thing that like really makes me sad. It was like we watched Navi play the other day and they had Spirit Breaker like charging a puck.
10
And you know it was a
seconds.
secret game, and you know this isn't gonna work. But he has to do it because he has no
5
other form
seconds
of initiation.
remaining.
It's like Spirit Breaker runs in, congrats, like you're not gonna kill anybody.
And out of all the 4 positions, Nyx Assassin is the most unreliable.
Yeah. So
Dumb for you.
you can't just have one stun. You need multiple stuns to win Dota nowadays. And so for EG, they kind of need another hero that can just like go in. So it's like DK, it's not bad for them. If they're really crazy, then Sumail can play something like the Brewmaster.
Dire's ban now.
You still have options.
Mirana?
Mirana's not bad against Necro. I know that's because she's a diffusal carrier.
I think you have a rough time versus.
Yeah.
It's kind of like playing a puck against.
10
To, like,
seconds.
DK or Brew.
Yeah, I like the tankier option.
5
I
seconds
read
remaining.
actually
Any
really
undersea
like Brew.
cable I get my hands
Brew would
on.
have a little bit of problem. Necrophos.
Dire's turn to pick.
Oversight that is preventing you from getting off your
So
ult.
they thought maybe the quad, but we already kind of ruled that out.
I think they need another hero to go in. That or a hero that just like
By
wins
the
the
way,
late game.
Just as a throw in there, there you go. Sila's second most played hero.
10 seconds.
Oh, this would
They
be
only
pretty...
have Jakiro.
Yeah.
5
Spirit Breaker's pretty
seconds
good, though.
remaining.
Yeah, Spirit Breakers.
That's
I mean,
good.
Radiant's
good
turn
for the
to
vision
pick.
game and stuff, but
Lycan.
Okay, so they take Lycan. It's a Roche hitter. We talked about how you need a high ground. There it is. So for EG, I don't know, you got options. I think you need something with disable though. Like if there wasn't a Nyx, I would have said Ember was even good.
Choose your hero.
Kills that.
Take BS.
Bloodseeker, pretty good counter to Lycan, blocking down his obvious move.
Fun draft. Fun draft. Which way is it going though, gents? That's the question. So, predictions time, Austin.
I kind of like it. The Bloodseeker, I think it counters the Lycan. I think it does well enough in lane. It has an obvious advantage with the Spirit Breaker as well. There's a bit of kind of questionable about Lone Druid. I haven't been the biggest fan of him this patch. I've pretty much only seen him in pubs though, so EG's obviously. I'll back EG.
Okay, well.
I think Vichi's gonna do it. I think that their team fight is gonna be a little bit too strong. I think the laning phase will determine a large part of it, but I feel pretty okay.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay. One for each of the two teams here on the panel. It's time to head over to our commentary team. The early risers in the booth this morning. They're not going to get fogged up, but they are going to stay very lyrical. Let's head over there right now for game number 1.
Paul, all I need in the morning is more of those wonderful puns. That just makes my life wonderful. You don't like it? Whatever, man. It's amazing.
Paul's jokes just don't do it for me lately. Sorry, Paul.
Well, I'm excited because this game is going to do it for me. It's EG facing off against VGJ Thunder, the first game of the day. To me, one of the ones I'm more excited about, but you felt like you really liked that Bloodseeker pick as well.
I did like the Bloodseeker pick, but I was more on board with like what Will was talking about, that massive amount of team fight that Vici does have. I was also just happy seeing ROTK sitting down at the computer. You were laughing about it a lot. You're just like, ROTK just took his chair. He just actually claimed control over it. Claim control over the draft. But this should be quite an interesting one, seeing Lone Druid for the first time in a while, seeing Lycan for the first time in a while. Been a bit of time since we've seen those. And of course, Fikro. Yeah.
What a guy. He's just around. And for me, I think that the thing that's going to be interesting to watch for this series at least is a little bit of the carry position. Like you've got this sort of duality that goes on. I think the panel was touching on it earlier. Arteezy and Sylar, I think that in a lot of ways they become almost more famous for things that happen outside of the Dota game themselves than anywhere else. I mean, these guys have been around and been at the center of a lot of the talking points for a while here. But real quickly, what's the pause about? Is just
didn't really say much. They just paused the game, so they just said don't give up, and then Arteezy spam and go. Typical Artur, even inside of his real games.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's kind of a thing that people might be super familiar with. But you know, Sylar back in the day, he was around the TI5 era, having a lot of issues with the LGD team that's actually here now as well.
Yep.
And then, interestingly enough, he was actually having a lot of disputes when he was on the Vici team later with his now coach ROTK. And you know, he's always maintained that really consistent high level of play. But that's to me the thing that stands out is the players being very, you know, open and verbose with their talking points. But Fear moving out early, TP's out to lane. Looks like he's going to try and get down a ward pretty far there.
The Arteezy versus Sylar matchup is fun though. Just really joyous because Arteezy looked at more of this clowny kind of, you know, very boisterous guy who just, I mean, he's just himself and everybody loves him. And Sylar, yeah, like you said, most people don't really know that kind of story about him. Definitely pretty interesting. And another pause? Looks like this time it's from Io though, so it's alright. How are we gonna? Oh, this is gonna be confusing. We have a Wisp on the other team, and there's a player called Io. All right.
Yeah.
We'll just call him Witch Doctor. There we go.
Mr. Witch Doctor.
The Witch Doctor needs to pause the game.
He was tagged up earlier as Kamad too, as well. But game's getting underway here, and things to watch out for as far as the laning stage is concerned. Nyx Assassin, you know, the panel had mentioned earlier, this is a hero that's going to most likely run mid and try and just make Sumail's life a little bit of a living hell. Do you think you can still do that against a Bloodseeker?
It's a little bit harder. You can try to harass him out, but it's going to be what? It looks like a Lycan versus Bloodseeker matchup in the mid lane, so they're not really going to be able to put too much pressure as the double melee. And it looks like EG is setting up aggressive lane because Lone Druid is one of those heroes you can leave alone. He's self-sufficient, kind of can deal versus an Earthshaker by himself, and they're trying to get that pressure happening. We talk about it a lot that you want to just get your Bloodseeker's thirst stacking up, so you just try to harass the enemies, any of the lanes, just to let him have that favorable matchup. And Bloodseeker, I mean, even though Nyx is okay with like armor, it's not like he has any type of stout shield or anything along those lines. He has boots, so he can't take heavy right-click harassment once Bloodseeker gets those stacks charged up, if he is still in that mid lane harassing. But we'll see, of course, Fade and the Witch Doctor moving toward that top lane to support the Necro. because it's going to be a lot of pressure coming up from a Jakiro IO Spirit Breaker lane.
You see right here as well, Fear was able to spot the Nexus Assassin when he placed down that ward, so Crit brings the sentry out to himself. They get the D ward and now can move in and maybe get a little bit aggressive.
You want, especially when you want to read, like, know exactly what matchup you want to get. You want to know that they're going to be sending that Necro top. You always want to TP as these supports early on to get that situation happening. And Necro is going to be in some trouble. The first hit Bastion coming out.
Yeah, now the Coconut's bouncing back and forth, but they're already able to pick up the rune and back away for now. Looks like EG going to be able to escape without too much harm, I would imagine. They do have another Impale in just a second, but Crit's going to get the jump away.
He's on the low ground, though.
Actually, he ended up not quite getting it, and, well, with that slow, they're thinking about turning back around onto Fade. Fade in some trouble. It looks like he's going to end up dropping as well. First blood drawn by Unis.
Necro left the fight to go block the replays rather than stick with his teammates. So they kind of split up. The big problem happening. You don't want that happening in your tri lane, giving the other team a lead start. Who actually got the first kill? Alright, Universe did, but Crit's going to have his bottle coming out any moment now on IO. Anyway.
Oh. And then mid lane as well. This is going to mean a straight up, at least for the moment, 1v1, but AO moves into there as well, and it's going to try and keep Sumail back for the lane. Although that will mean they're also sharing a little bit of experience.
Seems okay for EG right now. Really good start in the lanes. Getting all the matchups they want. They're going to be able to really pressure this Necro, and that's kind of the win condition that you look at for Vici Thunder. Is sure, they have this Lycan who can hit buildings for them, but they picked a full counter to that Lycan with that Bloodseeker. It's really a lot to make sure that the Necro has to be online for them to actually be online in that mid game, and EG is not letting him get anything up there.
Yeah, this is a frustrating one to say the very least. And, you know, you pay a price of having Sumail get dual laned, and right now he's still top of the CS. Like, he doesn't care at all.
I mean, he's pushing Sylar out right now.
Yeah, this is real bad. Meanwhile, EG disrupting the pull. They're going to be able to get the creep wave back. I mean, Necro's fully under tower, and Sylar out of lane as well.
I mean, they're pretty much winning 3 lanes at the moment.
I hear that's not good to win Dota.
Yeah, that's pretty devastating. Crit didn't even have to expend any bottle charges, he just got it. He's camping the rune. And he gets illusions. So if he wants to heal somebody up with that, the star, he'll probably tell us to be aggressive, but next.
The Necro and drop down fairly low, but I don't think they're going to be able to make anything else happen.
But they've cut him low. Those thirst stacks. See Sumail's, well, Mr. S has 350 movement speed without boost and plenty of damage. And he's going for a kill build. He just gets the blood run skill. We've seen a lot of 2-0-2.